Okay, we'll go ahead and get started for today. Om Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Namah Paramarishibhyo Namah Paramarishibhyah. Om Namah Paramarishibhyo Namah Paramarishibhyah. Kasyapanvaya Sanjatam Narayana Padashritam Srimannarayanam Vande Yatiswara Sriyajasham Neelatungastanagiri Tati Suptamudbodhya Krishnam Parardhyam Swam Shrutishaga Shirasiddhamadhyapayanti स्वोच्छिष्टायां सृजनिगणितं याबलात्कृत्य भुङ्क्ते गोदा तस्यै नम इदमिदं भूय एवास्तु भूयः. So today we will do the 27th Pasuram, Kudarai, Vellum govinda. Harini, please go. Okay. கூடாரை வெல்லும் சீர் கோவிந்தா உந்தன்னை பாடிப்பறை கொண்டு யாம் பெரு சம்மானம் நாடு புகழும் பரிசினால் நன்னாகா சூடகமே தோள்வடியே தோடே செவிப்பூவே பாடகமே என்னனைய பல்கலனும் யாமணிவோம் ஆடையுடுப்போம் அதன் பின்னே பால் சோறு உடனே பெய்து முழங்கை வழிவாரா கூடியிருந்து குளிலிந்தேரோ ரெம்பாவாய். ஆண்டாள் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.
கோவிந்தாவும் தன்னை கூடாரே கோவிந்தாவும் தன்னை பாடி பறை கொண்டு யாம் பெரும் சன்மானம் கூடாரை வெல்லும் கோவிந்தாவும் தன்னை பாடி பறை கொண்டு யாம் பெரும் சன்மானம் நாடு புகழும் பரிசினால் நன்றாக சூடகமே தோள் வளகே தோடே சேவி பூவே பாடகமே என்றனைய பல்கலனும் யாமணிவோம் பாடகமே என்றனைய பல்கலனும் யாமணிவோம் ஆடையுடுப்போமதன் பின்னே பால் சோறு மூட நெய் பெய்து முழங்கை வழிவார மூட நெய் பெய்து முழங்கை வழிவார கூடி இருந்து குளிர்ந்தேனோ ரெம்பாவாய் கூடி இருந்து குளிர்ந்தேனோ ரெம்பாவாய். திருவடிகளே சரணம். அடியேன் சுவாமி.
Okay, so today we have a very special Pasuram, right? Everybody knows. So this Pasuram is famous for Kudarai Payasam, right? So it is sort of indicating a celebration of union with God, right? And in celebration of union with God, they try to enjoy along with God, right? This particular Payasam. So this Pasuram is very special. Now we will try to understand, right? In the beginning, if we all remember, the way the gopis have started, beginning with Andal, is that they all said that Nayyunnom, Palunnom. In this way, they said that as part of following this vratam called Thiruppavai, they will not they will give up certain things, right? They will not take ghee, they will not take milk, and so on. And they also said that they will not decorate themselves and so on. In this way, they said. But in this Pasuram, we actually see the sort of culmination of everything, the austerity that they have observed so far. And here, finally, they want to decorate themselves. And they want the Lord to decorate themselves with all kinds of ornaments and the Lord to drape them. And also, they want to enjoy a certain preparation along with the Lord. Right? So that is how this Pasuram runs externally. So first we will try to go through the external meaning of the Pasuram, and then we'll dive into the deeper meanings as graced by our Purvacharyas. So Kudarai, Vellum, Govinda. So they are. So it's very interesting that until this point, they have used several names like Narayana, Madhavan, Kesavan. In this way, they have used Damodaranai. In this way, different names have been used. But now, in this Pasuram and in subsequent Pasurams, they are going to use the word Govinda repeatedly. And this particular word is very significant. The reason it is significant is because it is conveying a sort of closeness. Govinda means they are trying to call him as someone who belongs to their herd, right? If you call him as Narayana, you are addressing him as Paratatva. So that name itself is conveying the idea that he is someone sitting in an office somewhere. He is someone who is inaccessible, right? But if you call him Govinda, one meaning of Govinda is one who tends to cows, one who gives pleasure to the cows. He is Govinda. In other words, they want to identify him with, their cowherd clan. So that sort of makes them feel much more close, much more accessible in a way that, the Lord is displaying his saulabhyam, accessibility to all of us. That person there, right in the first Pasuram, they said, Narayanane namakke paraitaruvan, right? That same Narayana, and they also said, he has appeared as Nandagopan Kumaran, that he has appeared as a son of Nandagopa, right? So that thing is very significant, that person who is present in a very inaccessible way, somewhere in a very high world, from there he came all the way to the world in which we are, and in a way that is very accessible to all of us so that we can actually approach him. That closeness is something they want to feel today. Because if we even see externally, if we observe what they are all trying to do, they have actually come to the Lord, and finally the Lord has come out. So far they had been somewhere else and they were gathering different devotees and gopikas and so on. So even reflecting the mood that they have come close to the Lord, they wanted to call the Lord with the name that makes them feel that closeness to the Lord the most. So therefore they were calling Vellum Govinda. And it's very interesting how they have called this Govinda here. So they are saying Kudarai Vellum Govinda. Kudarai means people who do not want to unite with the Lord, people who do not want to come to the Lord, they do not want to join the Lord, right? They are sort of not resistant, they are hesitant to come towards Lord, okay, for different reasons. Okay, we will go through what reasons, what are the different categories of people and so on. Then what does he do? Vellum Seer. He has got the quality of somehow the ability to win over them and subdue them and make them attain him. This is the quality that he has. Even with people who show some sort of resistance to come to him, he has the ability to, win over them and bring them close to him. This is the nature of Govinda. So why are they addressing like this? Now, even people who are actually vimukha towards you, that means people who have turned themselves away from you, even such people, you have the amazing quality of subduing them with some power of yours and bringing them closer to you. What to speak of us who have on our own accord come all the way to you, all the way here? Will you not grace us? In other words, they are expressing their confidence that the Lord will definitely grace all of them, right? Because he has come so close. So, Kodare Vellum Govinda. Now they are saying, Untannai Padi Kondu. Now they are saying that Untannai, about you, Padi, singing, Parai Kondu. They have come to receive that Parai. Right? That is the thing that they have been referencing all the way since the beginning, that they want to collect a certain instrument, right, from him. That is what they are saying. So in the eyes of the world, they are observing a certain vratam for getting rains, right? That is what they are doing. So now they are also expressing those words externally, that they have come, they are singing all these things. That is not their internal motivation clearly. Their motivation is just singing about the Lord gives them a lot of pleasure. Right? It is just out of pleasure, the happiness of singing. Because there is mouth, God has given an organ called mouth. That organ will attain its perfection only if you engage it in service of the Lord. So because that mouth exists, we have to glorify him. Because hands exist, we have to serve the Lord with our hands. Right? In this way, great Bhagavatas like Ambarisha and others, they have engaged like this. Right? There are beautiful slokas in Bhagavata Purana and so on. Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayor. He had his mind. God has given him mind. So what did he do? He engaged his mind in the feet of the Lord. Krishna Padara Vindayor. Then Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane. He had mouth given by the Lord. So he always engaged that mouth in glorifying the Lord. In this way, Karo Harer Mandina Marjanadishu. He always engaged his hands in serving the temple of the Lord, in doing, Kainkaryam at the temple of the Lord. In this Mukunda, Lingalaya Darshane Drisho. In this way, he was constant, his eyes, he was constantly engaging his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord. Tad Bhritya Gatra Ange Sangamam. So he always engaged in sparsha, in always associating with the Lord. He used his legs always in going to temple of the Lord. In this way, whatever organs God has blessed him with, he, Bhagavata Purana describes that Ambarisha has used every organ in service of the Lord. This is how they were. So here, they are also in that mood, Gopikas. Because the mouth exists, we want to just engage it in glorifying the Lord. So constantly we want to sing about him. They have no ultimate purpose out of it. Because Lord gets happiness when they use that in the service of the Lord. So that's what they are conveying. Yam peru sammanam, nadu puhalum parishinal nannaga. So now they are saying that for doing this particular vratam, yam peru sammanam, sanmanam, right? There is an acclaim, there is a certain recognition, there is a certain honor that they are claiming out of this, right? That because they have observed something like this, they are saying we need to be honored, we need to be recognized. Now, externally, it might appear like, these gopikas, they are supposed to be very simple people. How come they are looking for praise and recognition and all these things? Because this is against the quality of Bhagavatas. Bhagavatas do everything with the understanding that it's just Kainkaryam of the Lord that they are doing. And they feel fortunate that even such a useless body is being somehow engaged in the service of the Lord out of his own mercy. Right? This is the feeling of a Bhagavata. But the gopis are saying we should be celebrated for what we are doing, right? And we will understand why they are saying that, right? And Nadu Pagalum Parijinal, not just that, people of the entire land should glorify what we have done, right? This is what they are saying. Because in the eyes of the world, externally, if we see, it is because they have observed that Vratam, finally rains are going to come. Right? So their task in the eyes of the world should be glorified because they have actually done for the sake of the entire land, for the sake of the entire village, right? But now internal reasons also we will try to understand. Nannaga. So that glorification should also be very well done. It's not like, somewhere in the corner of the newspaper, last page of the newspaper, last section where nobody notices you put it. Headlines, it should be there, right on the top that, gopis have achieved this. So that is how they want. A very good glorification they want. No. Chudagame tolvadiye tode shevippuve. Now they are saying, they are telling the Lord that, Lord, you please decorate us with so many ornaments, right? Or we have come decorated with so many ornaments, and they're going to tell how they are decorating themselves, right? First, they are saying Chudagame. That means they have worn certain, bangles or ornaments for their arms. That is the first thing they are describing. Tolvadiye. Then they are talking about ornaments for their shoulders, right? That is what they are describing next. Tode. Now they are talking about certain studs that they have worn for their lower ears. Then Chevippuve. Then they are talking about some, Chevippu means some, there are some sort of ornaments here for the upper part of the ear. Then Padagame. Then they are saying that they are putting on some sort of anklets or something like that. So another ornaments for their feet. Enra Anaya Pal Kalanu. That means many such ornaments they have decorated themselves with, right? With all these things. Yam Anivoms. All these ornaments we shall wear. This is what they are saying. Now, Adai Udupom. Now they are saying they will also drape themselves with very nice robes, nice saris, right? They are come decorated, fully decorated for the Lord's sake. Then, Adan Pinne Pal Choru. Now they are saying, in addition to all of this decoration, right? Pal Choru, rice boiled in milk, Mudanai Peda Mulangai Valivara. So they are going to offer some rice boiled with milk and they are going to cover it nicely. And then Nei Peda. Previously they said Nei Unnam, right? Now they are, saying with nicely that preparation will be made with nice ghee and Mulangil Valivara. In what way? This is something famous about Kudarai Pasuram, right? The one quality that should be there is as you start taking payasam, just like, when we drink tirtham and so on, sometimes that water will flow like that. You drip like this through the elbow. That neigh should actually drip through the elbows. That is how much ghee should be put in this payasam, right? So that is an interesting characteristic that they are saying. Then, Kodi irundu. Now, being united with you, kulirundu, we will enjoy bliss of union with you. Right? This is the Pasuram, external meaning of this Pasuram. Now we'll try to understand, what is the inner meaning behind what they are trying to ask the Lord in this particular Pasuram. So, 4 categories of people exist who do not want to join the Lord, right? Based on the commentaries of our Purvacharyas. Who are they? The first category of people is great Bhagavatas. This seems very contradictory, right? Bhagavatas are the people who are ever eager to attain the Lord. They constantly want the Lord. Then how is it that Bhagavatas are, seeing themselves as someone who don't want to come near the Lord? Why? Because they have an important quality called Naichyanusandhanam. Naichyanusandhanam means considering oneself as Nicha, means very unqualified, right? Let's say, there is a certain person who is, very nicely decorated and they have come in a car, maybe your child or someone, right? They're wearing a suit and they're going for an interview or something. And the mother is very busy in the house cleaning everything and so on, and she's sort of dusty. The mother would not want to come and embrace the child at that time. She'll say, all the best from a distance. She wants to bless from a distance, right? So this is the mood in which, these great Bhagavatas actually feel, right? That they consider themselves so low and unqualified because these are people who have fully digested the unsurpassed qualities of the Lord, right? They fully understand. Ordinary people, they may not even understand how glorious the Lord is. So they don't mind even moving around the Lord and touching him and throwing him down and all these things. But these great Bhagavatas are people who fully understand how great God is. Now, when they reflect on, how low they are, they do not feel qualified that they want to come in front of the Lord. They do not feel qualified that they want to come closer to the Lord. So they feel that it's better off for them to stay away from the Lord than come closer to him. So this is how they feel, right? One example is in the Rama Avataram, for instance. Rama, he is Chakravarti Thirumagan. He's the son of a king, right? So there is sort of inaccessibility for Rama, right? He's somewhere inside. There is, people would have certain inability to meet him, right? They want to come and express so many things to the king, but there is that level of, clearance that they have to go through before they can come and say anything to Lord Ramachandra, right? But he has got an amazing quality. What is it? The Ramayanam says, Purva Bhashicha Raghavaha. That even before when they come in front of Rama, their mind is overwhelmed with so many emotions. If you look at the equation of the mind, the graph is all over the place. I have to express all these things. That's how we feel, right? Tirumala, right? They give 10 seconds for us, 5 seconds or something. We have so many desires we want to express. We also want to see the Lord. We also, in that overwhelming emotion, most of us will just close our eyes, and before that, they'll push us away. This is what happens. Right? So in this way, when they come in front of the Lord, Rama, or for instance, right, there are so many people who would want to meet him on a day-to-day basis. So naturally, they'll keep pushing people away. So they have to, they want to express what they want to express, but they don't want to be sudden and, blurt it out on the Lord as soon as they come. So first they want to say, are you good? And so on. But they don't have so much time to say all of that. So they feel, I'm unqualified. It's better that I'll just see him and go away. But Ramachandra, he has got this amazing quality. Purva Bhashicha Raghavaha. He himself will first of all, calm things down. Like Anantan keeps saying, calm down all the time. That is one of his, it has become popular these days. So in that way, Rama will first calm them down, right? Don't, if there is any overwhelming feeling that is going on in their mind, they'll forget all of that and they'll feel that Rama is very approachable. He'll come and ask, how are you doing, Tata? Is everything going nice in your house? How is your, granddaughter? How is your grandson? Are they well settled? Everything going well and so on. Then they'll feel very comfortable to freely share in front of the Lord. So in this way, if there are people like that who feel very unqualified in approaching the Lord and so on, the Lord uses his qualities called Sausiliam, his Vatsalyam. He uses some of these qualities to make them feel that he's actually very accessible. In fact, in Ramayana, right, the first quality that is described is Gunavan. What is that Gunavan? Gunavan means our acharyas say it is saushiliam, because this is one quality that is required. If this quality is not there, no matter how many qualities exist, there is no value to all those qualities. What is this quality? This is mahataha mandai saha nirandrena samsleshaha saushiliam. That means a great person, without seeing any distinct, going through any calculations, he mixes so freely with even an ordinary person, so that ordinary persons feel that this great person is very approachable, right? They feel comfortable opening up in front of such people, right? So vulnerability, right? That's what, diversity and inclusion committees and so on, they say, be vulnerable, share your all these things and so on. So Rama, he actually makes them feel comfortable so that they can actually share their emotions, right? This is one of the qualities of Ramchandra, and that's what he does with these Bhagavatas who have this hesitation in feeling that they have this very low qualities and they cannot approach. So that is the first category. Second category are people who are lovers of God. So there are different people like gopis and so on, right, who have immense love for God. And in that love of God, when we say somebody loves God, they might love God based on any features. The Lord has infinite auspicious attributes. Any characteristic of him can be attractive to us. Based on that characteristic, we might love him. So there were people like these gopis and so on, all of these gopis and so on, they were mesmerized by his beauty, right? By his madhuryam, his sweetness, his tenderness, right? These are all the qualities for which they fell. So they were not necessarily always aware of his paratvam. They were not necessarily always aware of his greatness, right? There were some qualities for which they fell, and they just thought that he is just, our lover boy, right? He is someone. It doesn't matter, because from a Shastra's point of view, no matter, tasmat kenapi upayena mana krishne niveshayet, says Narada Maharshi, that it doesn't matter, gopya kamat, bhayat kamsaha. In this way, different categories of people, they absorbed in him with different moods. Some people out of kama, some people like Kamsa, they were always fearful. Some people like Hiranyakashipu always carried hatred towards, Vishnu. In this way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be love. But it is very difficult for us to practice the other things. It is easier for us to love God than hate him. Even if we hate him, we have to hate him in such a way that he should always flash in our mind. Can we hate him like that? So that is because that's when, bhakti is what? Anudhyanam. Preeti Purvam Anudhyanam is bhakti, right? Anudhyanam can happen even when we hate someone. Constantly we'll keep thinking about them. It can happen even when we are afraid of something. Constantly we'll keep thinking. If someone just says there is a snake in this house, beware. Constantly our mind is absorbed on that. Where that snake will come, any movement happens, our thoughts are absorbed on snake. So absorption can happen out of any reason. So even absorption on God is required, but it doesn't matter in what way we are absorbed, right? So gopis and so on, they were absorbed in the mood of love, just as a lover boy and so on. So how the Lord would actually, because of that, sometimes they would think just like, an ordinary girl or an ordinary boy, they sometimes try to, display some sort of attitude saying, I'm angry with you, go away from here and all that. Sometimes they would display this too, right? They wouldn't want to come to the Lord. So then the Lord, he knows how to actually slowly bring them under control in a very loving way. And sometimes he also displays who he is, his paratvam. So gradually, by showing an increasing appreciation of his qualities, he tries to bring them under control. So with the same qualities of sweetness and tenderness and so on, first he brings them under control. Then he gradually tries to elevate their jnana. They are absorbed in prema, but he tries to elevate their jnana and gradually he tries to bring them under control. This is another category. Then there are people who are outright haters of God, right? People like Duryodhana, people like Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu, Putana, Shekatasura, Bakasura, all these people, right? They were just outright haters of God. Even at the last moment, their thoughts were not changed. Putana came to know at the last moment. She came to know that this person is capable of destroying the entire universe. Even at that moment, even that thought came to her. She didn't stop. She finished her task. Right? If at all that thought came, she should have surrendered to him and said, "You are the Supreme Lord. I recognize. I'll catch hold of these feet. Please forgive me." But she didn't do that. She went ahead with what she planned originally. Right? In this way, Ravana, so many chances were given till the last moment, but he didn't change. He didn't yield. Even on the last day, Rama sent him away. He gave him one more chance. Even after the bow broke, everything broke, he sent him away. But Ravana also did not yield. So in such cases, he subdues them only based on his valor, right? That is how he has to subdue them. But eventually they will also be subdued. right? But the way he subdues them is he has to show his parakramam, his valor, right? That's how he has to subdue those people. Then there are neutral people. Neutral people means they don't know too much about God yet. They don't, it's not that they hate God, it's not that they have too much love towards God too. So in the case of such people, he tries to subdue them using other forces. Now they may have someone that they like or something. So, they may take shelter of some acharyas or something. So through the acharyas, through the alvars, through the other people that they take shelter of and so on, God tries to gradually instill jnanam in them, instill bhakti in them, and through that he tries to bring those people under control. So in this way, different categories of people are eventually brought under control. Now they are expressing that confidence that he is Govinda. Why? What is the nature of Govinda? If you look at cows, they are ordinary animals, right? It's not that cows have a lot of affection for Krishna, right? That's not true. It's not that they have affection for Krishna, right? When he plays flute, they come to him. But it's not, they are just comfortable grazing where they are grazing. They are just happy grazing, right? It's not that they hate Krishna either. It's not like, let's say there is a tiger that is coming and Krishna wants to protect them and he tries to save them. They carry immense gratitude towards Krishna or something like that. They forget it right there, right? All they care about is, I have my grass here, I'll finish grazing this. That's what they care about. But the nature of Govinda is that even such ordinary cows who are in all categories, he is able to attract them just by playing his flute. And he's able to bring all of them under control. So this word is indicating how God can actually bring everybody under him. He has that unique ability. So they are saying, will you not accept us? If you accept even people who are away from you, will you not accept people who have come to you? This is what they are saying here. Then, like we discussed previously, it is not that they are trying to sing about God so that their miseries go away. This is how Shastram says. Shastram says that by glorifying the names of God, our miseries will go away. Whatever difficulties we are going through, all those difficulties can be gone, right? Vishnu Sahasranamam, right? We discussed rogarto muchete rogat, baddho mucheta bandhanat, bhayan mucheta bhitastu, muchedapanna apadaha. Someone suffering from a disease will be gone. Someone is feeling very constrained in their life, so many constraints, what to do? All those constraints will be removed. Bhayan mucheta bhitastu. If there is some fear that they are afraid of, that fear will go away. Muched apanna apadaha. If there is a danger that is supposed to come in their life, some accident is supposed to happen, that will go away. That will not even happen for someone who is constantly reciting this Vishnu Sahasranam. So the nature of the names of God is like this, that some benefit is there. Our miseries will go away. Our karma will be reduced. But they are not doing it for that purpose. They are doing it because they are just happy doing it. They just love doing it. Now they are saying you should actually honor us. Why? They have a unique quality. Who are the people who should be honored? People who should be honored are the people who possess this Mahavishwasam, that the Lord is the protector. This they have displayed right in the first Pasuram. Narayanane namakke paraitaruvan. They said that our faith is in this Narayana. He is going to make things happen. They did not believe necessarily in, performing this vratam and rains will come and all that. Right from the beginning till the end, in every Pasuram, they were clear that it is this Narayana who is going to do, right? Therefore, they have glorified, Narayana in the first Pasuram, then they glorified Vibhava Avataram, then they glorified Para Vyuha Avataram, then they glorified Vibhava Avataram, then Antaryami in Adimarai Kanna, right? They were not glorifying the rain god. They were glorifying the Antaryami of rain god, who is Narayana himself. So they were very clear at every point that anything can happen only because of him. So they have that confidence that he will take care of things. Everything will happen. I don't have to worry about how rains will come. I just have to sing about him. He will take care of everything when the time is right. So because they have this quality, they should be remembered. In other words, they are trying to communicate to everybody that if you have faith like us, that if you place faith in God like us, then there is nothing that will not happen for us. Everything good will happen. That is the benefit of Thiruppavai. Thiruppavai it's the essence of Vedas. If Vedas are capable of bestowing all kinds of benefits, this simple Thiruppavai is also capable of bestowing all kinds of benefits. Even for someone who wants to approach Thiruppavai materially, even if they feel like every day I'll recite Thiruppavai, then all good will happen in their life. Of course, people will not do it for that purpose when they are surrendered to God, but that Thiruppavai has that power because it is filled with gopis who have this Mahavishwatam in Lord, and it is filled with that people who have set that example of constant faith in God, right? So therefore they are saying, therefore we are great, we need to be honored. And how should they be honored? Just like in Ramayana, we find an incident where, as Sumantra came, Dasaratha and, Kaikeyi, they were discussing, and it was time for Rama to be invoked to convey the message that, he is no longer the prince to be crowned. So Sumantra came to Rama's place. Rama and Sita were in their chamber at that time. And as Rama was proceeding, naturally Sita Devi, she was saying, just like, a husband is going to an interview, wife will say, all the best, do well, everything good will happen, this is, prasadam and everything. In this way, Sita Devi, she was doing Mangala Sasanams behind him, right? And she came all the way to the door, and Rama immediately said, it is said, Pati Sammanita Sita, that he actually stopped her. The way he stopped her, the way he checked her is he had a garland on him. He immediately put that garland on her. He said, please remain here. I'll go and come. Right? In this way, the gopis were also feeling, just like you decorated Sita Devi, you should also decorate all of us. Because we have this Mahavishwasam. Now, what is the Mahavishwasam Sita Devi displayed there? She could have come all the way. She carried that, FOMO, they say these days, that what will happen? What will happen? So much excitement, right? What will happen? So naturally that excitement might be there. But Rama said, you stay here, I'll take care, whatever happens. And she remained there, right? That is how these gopis are also showing some sort of, faith in Narayana, that he'll take care. So because we are displaying that's what you did to Sita Devi, so please do that to us too. You decorate us, right? This is what they are trying to say. And the other reason they are saying that they have to be glorified and their name should come in the newspaper is for two reasons. Why? One thing is, people who are trying to practice this, they should develop that faith that eventually you will give result. What is the result they got? Ultimately, Krishna showed himself. Krishna appeared in front of them. He yielded to them. He said, I'm willing to give what you want. To that point, it happened after observing everything that they have observed, right? So now this faith people should develop. That is why the world should know Thiruppavai. Everybody should know Thiruppavai because they should know what these gopis started with, what is the effort that they put, and what is the result that they got. Everybody should know this. So this is the reason why they want everybody to know about this. The entire world should know about this. They should glorify this. And then the other reason is people who are opposed to this, right? In the case of these gopis, their own parents were opposed to this, right? They did not want them to go and meet Krishna the previous day and so on, right? Somehow that day they permitted because everybody said, elders said, no, this is the only way things can happen. So therefore they were permitted, but previously they were not permitted. So in a similar way, people in this world, like in the case of Hiranyakashipu, right? What did he do? Prahlada, he wanted to worship Narayana and Hiranyakashipu never allowed it. So there are people in this world who oppose our devotion. When we say we are devoted and so on, they say, oh, what is this? This is all sentimental. This is all for, foolish people. You are a scientific man. You are a practical person. They want to use all these words and say that, whatever devotion is there in us, they have to destroy it, right? That is how people will do. Even to such people, they are trying to declare that Narayana is powerful. Narayana is not a powerless, formless, shapeless, sizeless entity. Narayana is a person who has this beautiful form, who is filled with compassion, who is filled with affection, who is filled with accessibility, who has all these qualities with which he will definitely fulfill your desire. You just have to place faith and work like the way we worked, right? Towards God. This is the faith that they want to give to the world. And they want to destroy or shatter the faith of people who do not have faith in God. For both reasons, they want this to be known to everybody. And there are certain examples that the acharyas are quoting, right? There was once an occasion where, before the war started, Arjuna and Draupadi, they went into the chamber of Krishna and Satyabhama, and they were all, lying in a very good position, right? Krishna was apparently sleeping on the lap of Arjuna. He placed his head on the lap of Arjuna and he placed his feet in the lap of Satyabhama. And then Draupadi was sitting next to him. So they said, they were discussing so many, that means they were in a very intimate way, like how closely one would be with, friends and family. That is how they were, right? And they said, because they were having private discussions and all that, they said, don't let anybody. They told the guards who were outside, don't let anybody. And at that time, Sanjaya had come there. And then, Sanjaya was prohibited. He was forbidden from coming inside. Then Krishna said, no, you can let him in. The reason you can let him in is because he's a Mahabhagavata. If he actually sees us like this, he'll just become joyful. He'll be happy looking. It's not like he'll become envious. Oh, look at Arjuna. He's sitting so closely to Krishna. In this way, he will not feel envious. He'll actually feel happy. And he'll share that happiness with other devotees. He'll also definitely go and share that with Duryodhana and others, and it'll destroy whatever confidence they have. So for both purposes, Krishna said, allow this Sanjaya to come in. Let him see what we are up to. Let him hear what we are up to. So that he'll go and accomplish both things. Right? He'll give confidence to Bhagavatas and he'll destroy the confidence of people who are opposed to Krishna. Right? Similarly, another incident is also told that Ravana, he actually sent a couple of messengers. Even if you have seen Adipurush, right? That scene they have somehow captured in that movie too, right? So two messengers are somehow sent, right, to Rama's place so that they can actually find out everything and they can actually convey that back to Ravana. And these people apparently discovered them, right? But even after discovering them, they themselves showed and gave a tour of the entire strength. And now these people went and told Ravana, because Rama wanted that to happen so that Ravana's confidence would come. He had false pride. He was thinking, I can do anything. He was so, despite losing everything in his life, he lost his army, he lost his children, he lost one of his brothers, he lost his, everything he lost, right? Despite losing everything, that pride was not going away. He was still thinking, I can take care. It was that false pride that made him, accept that promise when he said, you have no death in the hands of anybody except humans and, Vanaras. He said, humans and Vanaras, what can they do? That's okay. That's all right. That exception is okay. That exception is what got him death because of that false pride, right? So Rama wants to destroy that false pride. So these messengers came back and said, there is no way in which you can win Ravana. So Rama's purpose was accomplished, right? So with this, so in this way, that's why these ladies also, they want this to be known to everybody, because everybody should know the power of placing faith in God and what God is capable of accomplishing, right? And how should this glorification be? It should be very well done, right? How well should it be done? Just like Rama garlanded Sita, in that way you garland us. You award us, right? How should you award us? You should decorate us with all ornaments, right? The reason they have chosen not to decorate themselves all these days is because they were feeling that separation from Krishna. That is the reason why they were not decorating themselves, right? Of course, that is an observance as part of that vratam. But from their perspective, it is that feelings of separation from Krishna. Just like Sita Devi did not choose to decorate herself. In fact, she was sent with all ornaments when she was sent to the forest. It's Rama came in that, ascetic clothes, but Sita Devi did not come in ascetic clothes, right? She was fully decorated. The conclusion was that Sita Devi has to go like a princess, even to the forest. Because these rules do not apply to Sita Devi. Those rules only apply to Rama, right? Whatever Kaikeyi put for. So therefore, Sita Devi had all ornaments, but she did not decorate with any ornaments. And finally, when Rama emerged victorious, then he sends Vibhishana. Vibhishana comes and conveys that to Sita Devi. Then she decorates herself with everything and comes to meet Rama. So the reason these girls chose to remain like that was because of their separation from Krishna. Now that they have finally met Krishna, now they want to decorate themselves because that is how they want to present themselves in front of the Lord, right? It is one thing to finish a project, but it is another thing to present it the right way. If you don't tell the story the right way, leaders will not accept your project, right? So that last presentation aspect is very important. So now, how should we present ourselves in front of God? With all Atma Gunas, with all qualities. What does the Lord want to see? The Lord is not interested in, how beautifully we come decorated and what kind of clothes and so on. Yes, of course, we shouldn't come decorated like a beggar in front of Krishna. We shouldn't come crying in front of Krishna. When we come to see deity in a temple or something, we should always be happy. Because for most of us, Lord has given us everything, right? We are fortunate, we have eyes, we have ears, we have hands, we have legs, we are able to see, we are able to communicate. There are so many people in this world who don't have any of these things. We have food every day, we have a house, we have Bhagavatas association. What is there to complain about? There is nothing to complain about. So when we go in front of the Lord, we shouldn't go with a dull face, see my situation is the most miserable situation in the world. Everybody else is happy around me except me. In this way, one shouldn't go in front of Krishna. One should just be happy just to see the Lord. That I have come, I'm so happy, my dear Lord, for everything you have given me so far. If there is anything in addition you want to give, that is okay. But so far, with everything you have already blessed, I'm happy, I'm satisfied. Right? In this way, one has to approach the Lord. So therefore, they want to decorate themselves externally and internally too, right? Because externally, they want to make themselves presentable to the Lord, right? So that is the thing that they are saying. Now, even when the jiva attains moksham and the jiva meets Paramatma, we are told that upon meeting with Paramatma, the jiva gets all of its original gunas, right? Asmat sharirat samuthaya param jyotir upasampadya svena rupena abhinishpadyate, says Chandogya Upanishad, right? Upon departing from this body, asmat sharirat samuthaya param jyotir upasampadya, upon attaining the Supreme Lord, svena rupena abhinishpadyate, that means the jiva, I mean, when there is a discussion among acharyas as to whether the qualities will come before or after, but when we see, the jiva gets decorated with all qualities. What are the qualities that the Upanishad describes? Apahata papma, that the jiva will become sinless, no more sins. Vijaraha, right? No more old age. Vimrutyuhu, no more death, right? Vijigatsaha, there is no more hunger. Apipasaha, no more thirst. Satyakamaha, whatever the jiva desires, that will happen. Satya sankalpaha. In this way, so many qualities will come to the jiva in the moksha dasa, right? So that this is also another kind of decoration that is being talked about, right? Now, how are they asking to decorate? They do not want Krishna to decorate. They want Nappinai Pirati to decorate them. Why? Because this is what Ramachandra did to Hanuman, right? There is a certain, in the end, Indra gave a certain harem to Sita Devi, and to Rama, and Rama gave that to Sita Devi and said, whoever you think is most qualified, who is most powerful, who has most buddhi and all that, you decide and you please give them. And Sita Devi communicated with Harais, can I give it to Hanuman? And he said, yes, you can give it to Hanuman, right? So it's Sita Devi who has to give that. So therefore, you please ask Nappinai Pirati to come and decorate us. So that is well decoration. If you do it, it is one thing, but if Mahalakshmi does it, it is another thing. Because it is she who has to accept us and present it to you. So let that process not be overrun, right? Let us not, independently try to approach you, right? Because that is what happened in the case of, Vali, right? Vali and Sugriva. Sugriva first, he went, Rama said, I'll protect you. Sugriva went, he got beaten up very badly, and then he came back. Then, Rama said, no, Lakshmana, you please put a garland, then I can identify Sugriva. Right? What was the difference? The difference was that previously he was never respecting Lakshmana, who was right next to Ramachandra, right? When he put a broken tree branch, that was the sofa for them. He put it only for Rama. He didn't put it for Lakshmana. Whatever he did, he put it only for Rama. So Rama wanted to correct this attitude. Yes, there is no difference between Sugriva and Vali, because both of them don't have any respect towards Bhagavatas, right? So you first, surrender in front of Bhagavatas, right? So therefore, they don't want to overrun this process. There is a protocol. So we want to follow that protocol. So you please ask her to do it. Let her, take us to you. Then, now they are talking about the ornaments part. Now, this is a very interesting part. In the interest of time, I'll try to go quickly. I'm sorry. So, first they are talking about ornaments of the arms, right? Generally, when a marriage happens between husband and, between two people, right? A man and a woman, right? The first thing that happens is, they put a curtain, right? And the lady is separated from the man. At that time, first thing that the person gets to see is the hand, right? Because the lady has to put the hand from underneath so that she can actually, at Panigrahanam, right? So that is one of the first steps, right? So hand is the first thing that is seen. So therefore, that hand, when it is seen by the other person, it should be decorated. So therefore, it should have bangles. The next thing that happens is, after this event is over, they both will be made sit next to each other, right? The girl and the boy will be made sit next to each other, and together they'll perform a lot of homams and all these things. At that point, during that performance, their shoulders will touch each other. So shoulder is the next part, they'll get touched. So in this way, shoulder should be presentable. Then after that, sometimes certain games are played where, they try to convey secrets to each other and so on. Or even if they have intimate times where they want to talk secretly to each other, they try to speak near the ears. So, and also sometimes, there are these flowers and so on that are placed here. So in a way of expressing the intimacy and so on, he may want to smell that flowers. So flowers are something that, he may want to come next for after the ears. So each part that, the person is coming towards, that part they want to decorate and present it to the husband, right? Similarly, the next thing is anklets. So decoration of anklets is, the ladies, basically she is saying that I'm joining you in your effort and I'm going to walk with you wherever you go, right? That is what she's trying to indicate by wearing those anklets, right? That my path is basically your path, right? Whatever path you are taking, I'm going to be with you. And I'm going to, this is what Sita Devi said, right? To Ramachandra, his dharma is Sharanagata Vatsalyam, and therefore her dharma is also Sharanagati Vatsalyam. Saha dharma charitava, said, Janaka, when giving her hand to Ramachandra. So she is going to be that Sahadharmachari, right? So that is what is being indicated. And then they are going to decorate themselves with, nice clothes to present themselves to the husband. In this way, there are some external things that are told. Now we will try to understand the internal meanings of each of these. The first thing is giving the hands to the husband. So when we try, now this is trying to explain the process of surrendering to God. How one surrenders in Sampradayam. So the way one surrenders to God is, first of all, there is a vow that is taken. So whenever we perform Sita Rama Kalyanam, Andal Thirukalyanam and so on, we tie something, right? There's a certain kankanam that we tie, right? That we are expressing our, vow that I'm going to perform this nicely. So that is the first thing that is done. And the second thing that is done is with the hands we try to do namaskaram, right? This is the thing that we do. So namanam, in other words, we are subduing ourselves in front of Perumal, right? That we are, the first thing that should happen is we should submit to Perumal, right? That is the first thing that happens. His hands, namanam is indicating that I'm offering that namaskaram. So that is the hand thing that they are talking about. Then the next samskaram that should happen is shoulders should be marked with shankachakras, right? This is a prakriya that our itihasas, Vedam itself has said this prakriya, itihasas, and there are about 12 or 15 Puranas that have references for Pancha Samskarams as a ritual that needs to be done. Why should it be done? Sometimes people think it's just branding, right? It's just, some kind of conversion and so on. It's not true. The reason it should be done is because just like, if just, these days people say live in relationship and all that, girl and boy just live together. So that kind of relationship has no acceptability in the eyes of the government. There is no acceptability in the eyes of the society, right? There is a certain commitment that they both have to vow in front of the priest, in front of the devatas, in front of whatever their religion is, right? According to that, there is a certain avowal process that takes place where they have to officially commit in front of everybody about that relationship. That's when it gets accepted by the society, accepted by the government, and they get all the benefits and privileges and all of that. Similarly, the Vedic process is that in front of Agni, in front of devatas, in front of, all Dig devatas, there is a certain homam that happens, and in front of everybody that commitment should be declared towards Narayana, that I am surrendering wholeheartedly, right? It's not like this is, I'm saying I'm surrendering, but that surrender has no value after that, right? We have to express that commitment explicitly, and we have to stick by that promise, right? That is a point where we are committing to Paramatma that I am going to surrender to you wholeheartedly. Paramatma is going to make a vow that, I am going to remove all of your sins. Do not fear, right? Both sides promise is being made. If we don't keep our promise, then, Paramatma, he is free to do whatever he wants to. Generally, he doesn't do like that, but it depends upon how sincere we are from that point of surrender, right? So therefore, there is a Vedic process that is told that is just indicating how, one is trying to surrender to Perumal. In other words, that acceptance of Shankachakra is indirectly indicating that once we ascend to Vaikuntha, each of us will get a form similar to Narayana. So we all will get 4 hands there. So we shouldn't worry, how will I sleep there if I have 4 hands and so on, my 2 hands are comfortable and all that. The forms there are such that if you want to change into anything, you can change anytime. Your default form is a 4-handed form. If you want to change into a tree, you can change into a tree. If you want to change into 2-handed, you can change into 2-handed. If you want to become a bench for Perumal, you can become a bench. So you are free to become whatever you want. Default form is 4-handed. So it is just indicating that the jiva is preparing for moksham. So we have to imagine that there are 2 hands here holding that Shanka and Chakra always, because we'll get a form similar to Narayana. So that is what this is indicating. So the Shanka and Chakra are constantly reminding us that we are already accepted into the Lord's Goshti. Now it is up to us whether we are behaving as someone who is accepted or not. But Lord has already accepted us into his Goshti, right? This is how that is being declared. Now there are certain Chevipuve and Tode, all these things, right? Ear ornaments are being talked about. So these are the different mantras that the jiva receives. Just like you do mantropadesham always in an ear, because it is something one has to constantly meditate upon, right? So those mantras are what are being indicated by these ornaments for the ears. The Astakshari mantra is that lower stud that is being talked about. The Dvaya mantram is that Chevipu that is being talked about. And then the Charma slokam, which indicates the surrender of the jiva to Paramatma, right? Astakshari mantram talks about the Swarupam. It talks about what we are going to do. So it is sort of the jnana part of it. The Dvaya Mantram talks about the bhakti part of it, that all my sarvavidha kainkaryams are for Perumal alone, right? And then the Charma Sloka talks about a Vairagya aspect. So this Jnana, Bhakti and Vairagya are being indicated by ear ornaments and leg anklets. What is the anklets indicate? What is the Vairagya that we do in Charma Slokam? The Vairagya is Sarvadharman Parityaja. Give up all dharmas. What does it mean to give up dharmas? It does not mean that we have to give up our activities. We have to give up the intent behind activities. The Vairagya that we should practice is that the Lord is the doer, the Lord is the owner, and the Lord is the enjoyer of the activities. So that is the Vairagya one has to practice. So this Jnana, Bhakti, Vairagya are being indicated by this. And when we are saying Sarvadharman Parityaja, when Krishna is saying Sarvadharman Parityaja, he is saying Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. You please surrender to me alone and walk in my path, right? I am going to take you to moksham, do not fear. This is the promise he is giving. So when a marriage happens, the anklets, what did we think the anklets represented? They represented that the girl is committing to walk along with the boy in that path, right? Now we are going to follow the gati of Perumal, right? So that is what this Charma Slokam is indicating, that I'm giving up all gatis and I'm catching his feet alone as my gati. So that is what this Charma Slokam is indicating. So in this way, these mantras are being talked about with the ornaments. In other words, they are praying to the Lord to decorate them with all these ornaments, right? But there is one more thing. Although these qualities may exist, right? They shouldn't exist in theory. They should go all the way till practice. It's not that I know the meanings, right? Particularly in Ramanuja Sampradayam, Jnanam is not theoretical Jnanam. It should actually come to practical realization. It's not just theory. So, therefore, what are they saying? In fact, Adai Uduppom, they are saying that this has to translate into actual Sheshatvam. In other words, physically, it should translate into service. Physically, it should translate into those feelings that in everything I'm doing, I'm feeling that the Lord is the owner of these actions that I'm doing. The Lord is the person who is actually acting through me. It's not me who is doing this. I do not have any ability to do anything. He has to actually make things happen, make anything happen, right? And then ultimately, when the result comes, it is he who is enjoying that result. His enjoyment is what I will share, right? So this is the feeling that one should actively cultivate, actively practice in everything one does. Therefore, even Rama says one thing in Ramayanam, Vruttam avaranam striyaha, that, for women, their conduct is their robe, is how Rama says. In other words, who are all the women? We are all women, right? He is the only Purusha. He is the one who maintains all of us. He is the Bharta. Bharta means he is the maintainer. Bharya means we are all the maintained. Everybody is maintained by him. So our dharma is our conduct. So this knowledge shouldn't stay in theory. It should come all the way till conduct. So that is what they are indicating by that robe being draped by Perumal. Now, Adan pinne paal soru, moodanai pedu mudange valivara. So here they are talking about, certain annam that is being boiled in milk and to which ghee is added. Now, what is the annam, what is the ghee, and what is the milk is what we should understand. That is what they are enjoying with Perumal eventually, right? The Vedam says that Soshnute Sarvan Kaman, along with Brahman, the Mukta Jiva experiences happiness along with Paramatma, right? Brahmana Vipaschiteti says Taittiriya Upanishad that, along with Paramatma, the Jiva experiences a lot of happiness. So what is the happiness that the Jiva experiences? What is the Annam? The same Taittiriya Upanishad says, Ahamannam, 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 Ahamannadaha, Ahamannadaha, Ahamannadaha. That means, I am food for the Lord and the Lord is food for me. In other words, I am going to be an object of pleasure or experience for the Lord, and the Lord is an object of pleasure or experience for me. In other words, we have to experience the Lord and his Kalyana Gunams. This is the Pal. What is the Pal? Because cows are the Vedas. Then the milk that the cows give are nothing but the Kalyana Gunas that are described in the Vedas, right? About the Paramatma. So the Lord should be experienced along with his Kalyana Gunas in every activity that we do. In every Kainkaryam that we do, we have to experience Lord along with his Kalyana Gunas. This is what we should practice, right? That is what they are trying to say. What is the Nay? As we try to do this, we shouldn't feel happy on our own. The Nay is indicating that the Lord's happiness is my happiness, right? That is the Nay that it should always be mixed with. In other words, everything can be done we can fully feel that I'm doing this activity for Perumal, checklist, I've finished everything, I'm very happy, right? That shouldn't be there. It is the Lord whose happiness is what I'm resonating as my happiness, right? I'm not independently trying to enjoy anything. That is what they are trying to tell. Another Vyakhyanam also gives another meaning for Nei. The ghee is represented, the intolerance of separation from Perumal. That is the other thing that they are trying to talk here. In this way, finally being united with him, they want to experience his qualities. So, what is the payasam that they want to experience? The payasam is unfortunately not for this payasam, but the payasam is nothing but Perumal and his auspicious qualities and kainkaryam to him, filled with a feeling that I cannot tolerate any separation from him and I want to experience only his happiness. So, that is the payasam that we should have. But that payasam, Andal has graced us in the form of this payasam that we will, have. So with this, we will try to conclude today's Pasuram. Andal, Emperumanar, Jiyar, Tiruvagale Sharanam. Again, thank you all for being here. I apologize for taking it so long to express this. Thank you again for making this happen.